Hey everybody, in Myles, as you can see, and we got Myles a present for my birthday. Yes sir, we got an Aero Force gauge. Chris Tuner and Brian, a good neighbor, they both run these, and I've seen them before too. And you know, the critical thing with these is Suburbans is that you know, the computer has the ability to read transmission temp, but it does not come with a transmission temp gauge. The Escalades, the Denali's, and all 2500 trucks come with the transmission gauges. And you know, we could get the whole cluster redone and then correct mileage, but that's going to be around $300. And I thought, well, there's a lot more information, there's a lot more ability of parameters to read by getting these gauges, and you can record you know, 1/8 mile, 1/4 mile, and 0 to 60 times with this device. So I'm like, well, that's I think that's the route we're going to go. If I picked out correctly, I believe we've got the white screen. I believe that's what I picked out. I was thinking the blue, but then I kind of like the idea of the white a little bit better. So we got that. And then I went and was looking around. Chris in his truck has a little bezel right here. So I went looking up on eBay and found a Autometer makes that bezel. Basically, you just take this half off and replace it, and you can put, you'll have your bezel right there, connect to your OBD2 port down there, and be good to go. So this came really fast from ZZ Performance. They're an authorized dealer for Aero Force. Really nice little production. A lot of times you can buy them in sets of 2, so you can be scrolling through more parameters quickly. I thought, well, as much as that'd be cool, I don't think I really need that. I know Brian, he has his set up right here, which is a cool idea, which would be handy, but I've got this crazy OnStar. I'm not sure if I can disconnect that power. I've got to research it. So let's look at what we get. We got our gauge there, nicely held in. We got our receipt or packing information. We got our little, I need to go to their Instagram. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not connected to your Instagram. So we got our 5-foot cable, which should be ample. Obviously, it'll probably be easier to take this off. I'm not going to mess with that today. I was just going to see if we can power it up and take a look at it. But yeah, we'll take that off, and up here, probably pull the bezel or the dash part here. And yeah, so we got our, I don't think we need the power wire. We'll check that and see. You got the white face if you so want it. I think we'll stick with the black so it kind of blends. And there's our cable. And once we set our parameters, and for mine's a up to 02, or mine's an 02, so you need to get the PT 201 compared to like the newer trucks, which I think is either CT or CN 201. I believe that's like from 205 and newer. So anyways, I'm gonna play around with it here a little bit, kind of connect it, and we'll see what it does. Alrighty, everybody, we're in the Suburban, as you can tell. We got it kind of taken apart here. Look at all that. It's like a skeleton, like we're making a race vehicle or something. Anyways, so yesterday, I'll show you what we did yesterday, but first, what we're doing today. Anyways, I'm distracted. I'm sorry. Alright, so here's what we're doing. We've got the Autometer little cover here that will hold our Aero Force gauge, and I'm trying to figure out, you know, best way to mount this. But first I wanted to make sure I had my 5-foot of cable routed. I went ahead and ran it just straight back under here, and then looped it to go over the steel brace here, and then I just kind of looped it like pulling a hose right here with enough to plug in our OBD2, and our plastic support here shouldn't be an issue with this plug. If it is, we've got it so we can pull down some more wire to make that easier. So, but yeah, the altimeter gauge cluster is nice. Just trying to figure out, where to line everything up. But it does seem to be, a good fit. So I'll probably clean that area real well, and then see what works the best to keep it secure. I don't think we really want it rattling around, make a fast stop, and whoa! But anyways, I think that'll be the best fit for me for right now. I don't know how easy it'll see. That might be an issue. I noticed yesterday with sunglasses, when I had it sitting right here, that was a little bit tricky to see. So at night, obviously, that won't be an issue. It does have a few dim settings. I went ahead and turned it all the way up, but it still seemed to be an issue. I know Brian had put his over here. He didn't have the OnStar on his, though. So, but anywho, so that's where we're at. I went ahead and got the Chevy gauge on there, and we got that all set up. So we will look at that some more a little bit later, but just want to see the progress, and once I figure out how I want to secure that, I will let you know. So thanks for watching. Alright everybody, so been working driving Myles today because we've had issues with the cooling. I just have had a bug with that. It's not been working correctly. So drove it quite a few miles today, different terrains and so forth, and it's done pretty well. And so what we had to do was I switched out those old, the original fans that came with it, and I think that might have been a problem. There were two problems for sure. This fan over on the right was pulling the air. This fan over here with the original fan setup we had was actually pushing the air. So I wired that up wrong. But I don't think they were actually strong enough to be cooling this beast. That's my theory anyway. So I've been driving it today, and so far really happy with it. One of the issues though was that you could drive it for a couple hours and go and let it sit, and then what would happen is that you'd come out, the hoses would be rock hard. You'd usually find this afterwards, and then you'd see the temperature gauge. You just middle, and then it just bank right over to about 230 or whatever. So that happened to us last Sunday while we were tuning with Chris, and it bugged the daylights out of me. So I switched a thermostat, went back to the original thermostat on last Tuesday, and then drove it around real slow, and it immediately just pegged again at 210, and nothing I would do seemed to fix it. So my autometer came here for the gauge. So Tuesday afternoon, got that set up, put the those fans. It's crazy because those are old Ford fans that I'd picked up out of the trash, and amazingly they still work. That was really crazy. There's the Aeroforce hooking up. So need to reset it a little bit, but so far I'm liking the way it works. So we'll do a little video. I didn't quite get my the autometer piece in there quite right. Had a few little issues there, but it's really helping out. And so what I found today, I drove it straight from some downtown areas, varying speeds, 55 to sounds good. Just a multitude of areas, stop and go, up to 45, down to 15, and so forth. And here's my temps right now, and I think those are pretty good. Trains temps 194 and coolant temps 190, and I think I've been driving for about 2 hours. So we got 249 now. So we're gonna go home. I'm gonna let it sit. I need to go to Walmart, check on the diecast, and pick up some Lucas anti-slip for the Firebird. I'm gonna swap out take the old oil out and put some fresh trans fluid in it. So we're gonna let it sit. I might play with resetting my gauge here, and I'm gonna, for about maybe 45 minutes to hour, drive it again and see if we have those heat issues. But right now, see, it's actually even cooling with that gauge. So I've got it set up for my fuel injector flow and my fuel level, so that's kind of cool. So anyways, quick update. I need to do that better for you guys, but I didn't think about it. But we'll get back with you. There we go. That's not bad. Okay, so there we go. Now you got to use both buttons, but this will set up the scan. You got your setup, you got your cyclic scan cycle setup. And you use the button on the left to scroll down here, cycle time, record, so we can do quarter mile, eighth mile, 60-foot times, etc. Play, I believe, I'm not sure what play is actually. That might be play what we've recorded and misfires. Get DTC, so we can read our codes and clear our codes. And then we get invert. I don't know what that is actually. Dimmer. We've got 3 levels there. Oh, well, it took me all the way back. There we go. Well, there's my miles per hour. There's my fuel left. So then you can press both of these to go back to our function menu. So then you can go here and start your scan, and then setup. If this first setup here, you can go through and you click what you would like to be able to read from your ECM. On this one, we'll click this here, and oh, where'd we go? Oh, wrong one. I was supposed to hit the one on the right. There we go. Enunciator, horsepower adjustment, altitude adjustment, all kinds of stuff. Average miles per hour, reset miles per gallon. Logo, that's kind of cool. Let's go in here. You can pick the interceptor. We didn't mean to pick the interceptor. Here we go. Pontiac, so Firebird, that'd be cool. You can do SS, look cool. Eon, H2, Duramax, Impala, more GXP, Chevy. So of course we want to do that. So this button, we scroll down to exit. Hit that right there, and boom, we got our little Chevy logo there. So let's scroll down here to, that'll just take us right back to our scanning. Then we hit this one. All right, so here is our gauge there. Let's see, and there's current gear, engine load. You can reset the time. I had it at 45 seconds. That's way too long. So just giving us example, oil pressure, fuel left gallon, giving us all these run down here. RPM, miles per hour, sitting still, so obviously that's not reading. 25 seconds does seem to be a little bit better though. Back to our coolant. Looks like I had something with fuel twice. Let's see what that does again. I might have to go back in and reset current gear and engine load. I'm not sure how we're in third if we're in park. There's fuel left gallon, and oil pressure. That's good. What's next? RPM, miles per hour, and then back to temperature, I think. So that's kind of the setup we've got there. Okay. Now to go back to setup, you just hit both of these. Oh. There we go. Oh, I did it. I'm not sure what happened there. Let me press that. Alright, so there we go. Back to the scan there. But anyways, really impressive. You can go through here. That sets up what you would like. I've had the battery on for a little bit, so let me go ahead and turn the battery off, and we'll do a more in-depth a little bit later. But so far, really like the way that works. It will power itself down. Our keys out, and it'll give you these two little red lights, and you can set those up for shift lights as well, which I will do at some point here. So pretty impressive. Oh, there it goes. Current gear, engine load, everything's off, and there it goes. And you can see my face in reflection. So then that kind of goes to our kind of a set mode. We do recommend that if you're keeping shades in it if you got it parked outside, you know, cover it up or whatever. Thankfully, I've usually got shades in it, so that's a big help. But I think for the, I need to see if there's like an air-fuel ratio. That would be good. But it blends well. I know a few people. My friend Brian, he's got it over here. I wasn't sure about what to do with the ABS junk yet, so I figured, well, Chris Tuner has it set up here, so I thought, well, that'll work out good. And you'll see in one of the other videos where we just kind of snaked it around here. And there's some different ways that you can put the actual odometer cover on. It looks pretty decent from the top. It's a little bit loose right at the moment. I put some double stick tape on there. What's tricky is that you cannot put this on until you pull, or until you put this trim piece back on. So you kind of have to figure out a way that will make it versatile to remove. An odometer came with these 4 little pins where you can drill through here, either on the sides or wherever it's safe, to drill through both pieces. So you can just press those tabs in with your thumb and then pull them out with a one of the trim tools. So didn't feel like messing with that at the moment. Don't want to hit any wires, but down the road that'll be more of a professional fix. So, but I think it's a good tool. There's lots of building. You can add down some analog gauges to it too, and you can run 2 of them at once. So you can be covering 8 pages of data, or 8 different parameters compared to the let's see, you have 4 pages, so with this you can cover 8 parameters if you do, because you 2 per page, 4 pages. But then if you have 2 of the gauges, you can be running 16 different parameters, which, depending on your vehicle and how detailed you are, is a really good thing. So let's pop out here. I've been working with that for about 30 minutes or so. Let's see what the hoses. This will be kind of a combination video. Honestly, I was a little bit discouraged earlier this week, just trying to get all the bugs worked out, figure out these fans and so forth, and I was really kind of wondering, was it worth doing all this work? So, but just kind of got a little bit disillusioned with it, had to rethink. But I think the fans was the biggest thing. So, like I said, this one I had set up where it was blowing the air back instead of pulling it forwards. Good trick for that is put a piece of paper in between the two, and if it's pulling the air this way or pulling the paper that way on both sides, your air fan direction is correct. So we got those kind of tagged in for the moment, but I have new I got Chevy stock fans ordered, so there'll be 7 blades on both sides, and that'll be a pretty good direct fit. Only thing I have to do is pull off the original, I forget what the name of it, but this aluminum piece here just got out there. I think there's 3 or 4 welds across the top and the bottom. Just need to zip those off and pull off that, I can't think of the name right now. But anyways, so pull it off so that the airflow will match the new fans. So that's what we found out so far. Still got to work on the air conditioning. Still got the issue with the ABS. But eventually we'll get it figured out. I think the AC just needs a compressor. While I was driving, it was kicking on, and it was actually cool for a little bit. But you could see the voltage. The clutch kick on, click on, click off, click on, click off with the amperage reading. So for whatever reason, that's not working quite right. But next thing I need to do is put the camera up in there so you can see me make some pulls, because it will definitely move out of its own way now very easily. So, all right. That's it for right now. We're going to wait probably another 15 minutes or so. Come back, go to Walmart, and check on it. Everybody, so driving to Myles here. Finally kind of brave enough to go ahead and give you a little clip of how it'll do. Got the windows open. Let me roll this one up. I don't want to suffocate here. Still trying to figure out the AC. I think it just needs a compressor and dryer, but alright, we're going to give you a little juice here. There we go. more guts than it used to have, I tell you what. Still learning a few sweet spots on the cam and the gearing and so forth. So temperature, I don't think that gauge is reading correctly. Yeah, there we go. 190, 76 trans, 194. So I think we might have the cooling issue figured out. Still waiting on the other fans and the, to put in and correct it. So let's give you another stab here, see what you think. Boy, it really lifts the nose too. Yeah, it's got a lot of life in it. See a Brevard County officer here. Thankfully, we're going for a stop. But it runs really good. Really liking it so far. Working the bugs out little by little. Feeling a little bit more encouraged about today, honestly. So definitely just one of those things where it's a lot to think about. And you just got to sort it out, take it little by little. So yeah, 181, 182. All right. Not sure what that was, but it kind of quick. But yeah, liking to the new Myles, not Myles 2.0. So thanks for watching.